You turned in the keys, killed the lights, flicked the latch, and felt the lift of relief. Trip well spent, apartment spotless, home ahead. 2 days later your phone flares. Host reported damages. $800 requested. On the screen, a broken chair, a smeared stain on a rug. Your hands go cold. You scroll and read the note. If not paid within 24 hours, the amount may be charged automatically. You left a clean place. Someone is playing a dirty game. Emily and Mark booked a small Airbnb in Brooklyn. A bright studio with a brick wall, a tall window, and a cozy rug where morning light fell in soft rectangles. 3 days in the city. Meetings, walks by the river, coffee to go, late talks on the sill. No parties, no chaos. They left early on the last morning, wiped the counters, took out the trash, locked the door. Out of courtesy, Emily even left a note. "Thank you, it was great." The first ping came as their train rattled toward the airport. "You have a message from your host." Mark smiled. "Probably a thank you for keeping it clean." He opened it and froze. A flat message with no greeting. "You damaged a chair and stained the rug. Evidence attached. I demand $800. No hello, no let's discuss, just a checkbox. Agree/dispute. Anger hit Emily first, then cooled into focus. "Check the date," she said. The first photos capture info looked off. Different camera settings, different aspect ratio, and in the background a nightstand that never existed in their studio. The second photo showed a stain on a rug, but the weave pattern didn't match. Similar, but not the same. Their rug had a thin light border. This one had a dark edge sliding under the foot of a sofa they didn't remember either. They looked at each other. The same thought ran through both minds. We're being played. But how? A forgery? Old photos? Not even the same apartment. Mark skimmed the metadata. The timestamp landed when they were already at the airport. Emily remembered she always snaps the place at checkout, just in case. On her phone, fresh shots, clear table, neatly made bed, unstained rug. They tapped dispute. The Airbnb bot replied with a polite template. Describe the situation and attach evidence. Emily uploaded her images and briefly described their checkout routine. Mark listed discrepancies in detail. Different nightstand, wrong rug, wrong date. They hit send and for a second believed it would be enough. Support's answer sank that hope. "We carefully reviewed the materials and can consider a partial compensation of $400. "Partial? For what?" Emily exhaled. The system seemed to propose a compromise between truth and convenience. But truth doesn't split in half. If the pictures aren't theirs, there's nothing to pay. They surfaced from the subway into the terminal's roar. The world suddenly felt too loud. "Step by step," Mark said. "We have 3 lines of defense. Our photos, our checkout time, and interior logic. If that's not enough, we get a photo analysis." Emily nodded. "And we write cold and precise. Let them see we won't fold." Emily and Mark returned home. But instead of the afterglow of a trip, they faced a marathon of messages. Airbnb support replied slowly, as if pasting canned phrases. "We understand your concern. The case is under review. Please provide more evidence." No matter how much they submitted, the algorithm seemed to file their evidence away indifferently. A week later the host sent another message. "Your refusal of compensation is noted. If you continue to ignore this, the case will go to Airbnb arbitration." This time 3 more photos were attached. Again the details didn't match. One showed a crack in a chair leg, but the background wall was bluish-gray, while their apartment had a red brick wall. Another showed a close-up of a rug, but the fibers were clearly different, longer pile, not the short one in their flat. "They're cobbling together random pictures and calling it ours," Emily said. Mark frowned, but Airbnb took it seriously. A notice popped up. "Your case is now under arbitration. The decision may be final." They chose to fight systematically. Mark drafted a long letter. "Dear Airbnb representatives, we attach a full evidence package. Checkout time confirmed by train and flight tickets, apartment photographed on the same day, metadata provided. All host photos fail to match the interior. Different furniture, different rugs, different lighting. Please take this into account." They attached their own room photos from multiple angles, copies of tickets with departure times, screenshots of photo metadata. It looked like a small dossier. Emily and Mark weren't lawyers, but they knew sometimes truth wins not by shouting but by precision. They labeled each file, added notes, even made a comparison table. Host photo versus guest photo, differences in rug, wall, furniture. The arbitrator's reply came 3 days later. Again, a cold line. The host provided additional evidence. We are willing to consider reducing compensation to $300. Reducing. Mark clenched his fist. They're bargaining with a fraud. This isn't justice, it's a discount market. Emily felt exhausted, but stubbornness burned hotter. Fine. If they won't hear us quietly, we'll make it loud. That evening she posted on social media. Airbnb is trying to charge us $800 for damages that don't exist. Our evidence proves it. The host's photos don't match, dates don't match. But the system still demands money. We refuse. The post spread fast, gathering likes and comments. People replied, "Same happened to me. Airbnb always sides with hosts. Save everything or they'll take your money." Someone added, "Only publicity forces a response." The next day, Mark received a DM from a stranger. "I worked as a moderator. I know if a case becomes public, decisions often change. Don't give up." Their story began to spill beyond the support chat. For the first time in a week, they felt the tide might turn. Social media did what formal letters could not. Emily's post spread overnight. People shared it, tagged Airbnb, added their own stories. Underneath were hundreds of comments, dozens of reposts. Among them, a journalist from a local news site. He messaged, "We'd like to cover your case. Do you agree?" Mark hesitated. "What if it backfires?" Emily's reply was firm. "It can't get worse." The next day the article was out. Brooklyn couple accuses Airbnb of backing dubious host claim. It quoted their letters, showed screenshots of mismatched photos, compared interiors. And within 24 hours of that article, the impossible happened. An email arrived. "Your case has been reviewed. After further analysis of the evidence, the decision is final. No charges will be applied. The host has violated platform policy. His account has been suspended." Emily read the line over and over. At the bottom, a dry sign-off. Airbnb trust and safety. Her hands shook. Mark burst out laughing. Not from joy but from disbelief. Nearly a month of fighting. And it all flipped in one day once the story was public. But that wasn't all. Hours later, another notice came. "We are returning the full amount temporarily held on your card. And your photos are entered into the official record." Attached was a small bonus. A voucher for one free night at any Airbnb. Compensation for inconvenience, the note read. They sat at the table staring at each other. "So that's it?" Mark asked. "Yes, but look at the cost," Emily answered. Their lesson was simple but bitter. Take photos when you check in, and especially before you check out. Keep tickets and details that confirm timing. Never assume things will sort themselves out. They usually sort in favor of the loudest side. And above all, don't be afraid to speak publicly. Victory didn't feel like fireworks. It felt like a long exhale after a marathon. They looked back at their trip notes. Trip to NYC. New lines now appeared beneath. Social media equals force. Paperwork equals armor. Patience equals weapon. Emily said softly. "We prove truth can break through." Mark smiled. "And now others will know what to do." They stepped outside. New York roared as usual. People rushing, cars honking, cafes buzzing. The world hadn't changed. But inside they carried a new certainty. Small justice does exist. Now the question is for you. If a host charged you hundreds of dollars for damages that never happened, what would you do? Pay for peace or fight it out like they did? Share your answer in the comments. Your story may be the guide someone else needs tomorrow.